This Raspberry Pi was originally used by my daughter to learn Scratch coding, but I found it and thought I would give it a new life. By the end of this video, I was able to reinstall a new operating system on it and place it on the network as a Linux server. Your Pi will become a small home server that you can access remotely from your laptop. We'll install a fresh operating system, connect it to Wi-Fi, enable remote desktop access, and even install Portainer so we can manage the Raspberry Pi through a simple web interface, so it can function as a server. The first thing we need is a micro SD memory card. As you can see, there is a small slot in the back of the Pi, and by pressing the card, it jumps out. It is as easy to put back in as it is to take out. These are so cheap. These ones are 32 gig and available in local shops as well as online. The USB dongle is Wi-Fi 6 compliant, and I bought it online from Bros Trend, who sell lots of useful tech like this. But how do I get the latest operating system onto the Raspberry Pi? I bought a relatively inexpensive SD card reader from the internet, so that I can place the micro SD card into it. You can see the micro slot and a much larger slot, but we are just going to be using the smaller one. Once it is in, we can use the USB attachments on the reader. One is a small USB-C and the other is standard. This is to be connected directly to my laptop, so that when I want to download and install the Raspberry Pi OS, it will install directly onto the card. Now we head over to the Raspberry Pi website itself, where you will click on Software from the top menu. We need to download the imaging software that will install the OS onto the SD card. On the left, click Download for Windows and the image.exe file appears. Double-click it and a simple install process begins, which I have already done, but will only take a short time. Once it is installed, you will know as this little interface pops up with a list of Pi software to choose from. But wait a minute, which version of OS do I install, I hear you ask? If I check the back of the Pi, I see it is a Pi 400 and therefore I can choose either 64 or 32-bit architecture. Once I have selected the Pi 400 as a device, I just choose 64. If you have set up a Linux device before, this should be almost familiar to you. If you haven't, that's no problem. Select the USB device with the SD card inside. Name your Pi device anything you want, then fill out the time zone, city, and keyboard layout you need. The next part, fill out your username and password, and remember it. You're nearly there now. Fill out your local Wi-Fi details. And if it's easier for you, just use password authentication. You do not really need to use Raspberry Pi Connect, but it is a nice to have if you want. Now, you are ready to write those details to the SD card and install the Pi OS. Make sure it's all good, and let the install run. It will give you a little default warning you are about to erase any data, but crack on. Now, go and put the kettle on. Okay, that's done, so take the SD card out of the USB reader and slot it into the back of the Pi. Go for it. Power on your Raspberry Pi and watch the new firmware kick in. So here we are, logged in locally to our Pi. Two things you need to do: run an update using sudo apt update. It's a brand new install, so this will take longer than mine, as I have previously run this. The next command is for remote access. The command is sudo apt install XRDP-y. Once this is run, you can pretty much ditch your keyboard and mouse for the Raspberry Pi, as the next time you are on it, it will be remotely. One last thing, run the ifconfig command and find the IP address of the Pi on your local network. Good news, I can now ditch the mouse and keyboard, as I am now going to log in remotely using the Pi Wi-Fi. Now for the last. Start up an application called RDP, from the Start menu. Type in the IP address of the Pi that you saw when you ran ifconfig, then press enter and it should connect. Lovely, now type in on the XRDP prompt, your username and password you created, and that will get you to the Pi. We did it, we are now logged in from my laptop. While feeling happy, I still need to carry out a few checks such as pinging Google to see if the internet Wi-Fi is working. I fire up my Firefox browser, but I will show you how to set up Portainer in a future video. This will be to create containers, if you do decide to install applications, like a real server. Raspberry Pi has a classic Linux kernel, so the GUI is similar to other Linux distros. It's easy to navigate, so have fun with it, and any problems, just drop me a line below the description. This is a one-time install and totally worth it. We hope you enjoyed this one and keep watching more Linux videos with G-Man. Start learning basic Linux with some of our videos and we will see you on the next one. Bye for now.